And on this Tuesday, February 25th, 2025 edition of Newsmakers, the Vatican says Pope Francis remains in critical but stable condition. Vatican officials say his blood parameters are stable as he battles double pneumonia while continuing to work from the hospital. The Vatican's evening update said the 88-year-old Pope underwent a follow-up CAT scan Tuesday evening to check the lung infection, but it provided no details of what the scan showed, suggesting the results weren't back yet. Doctors said the prognosis remains guarded. Meanwhile, AP correspondent Tricia Thomas reports the Pope has resumed some work as thousands pray for his recovery.
The Vatican's noon bulletin today reported that yesterday the Pope met with the Cardinal Secretary of State, Pietro Parolin, and signed a decree for the causes of the saints and beatifications. Now, while the Pope is struggling and battling this pneumonia in the hospital, people are gathering from all over the world to pray for him. Last night in St. Peter's Square, Cardinal Pietro Parolin held a prayer service with all the cardinals and with hundreds of faithful from all over the world. And here at the hospital, people have been gathering for special masses and rosaries and just individual prayers.
A federal judge in Seattle has blocked President Trump's effort to halt the nation's refugee admission system. The ruling this morning came in a lawsuit brought by major refugee aid groups who argued that Trump's executive order suspending the federal refugee resettlement program ran afoul of the system Congress created for moving refugees into the U.S. Lawyers for the administration argued that Trump's order was well within his authority to deny entry to foreigners whose admission to the U.S. would be detrimental to the interest of the United States. U.S. District Judge Jamal Whitehead said in his ruling after the hearing today that the president's actions amounted to an effective nullification of congressional will in setting up the nation's refugee admissions program. Whitehead told the parties the president has substantial discretion to suspend refugee admissions, but that authority is not limitless. The plaintiffs include the International Refugee Assistance Project on behalf of Church World Service, the Jewish Refugee Resettlement Agency HIAS, Lutheran Community Services Northwest, and individual refugees and family members. The federal refugee program has been in place for decades and helps people who have escaped war, natural disaster, or persecution. Last week, a federal judge in Washington, D.C. refused to immediately block the Trump administration's actions in a similar lawsuit brought by the United States Conference of Catholic Bishops. That case faces another hearing on Friday. The Coeur d'Alene, Idaho Police Department is investigating an incident at the Kootenai County Republican Central Committee Town Hall Saturday. The KRCC says Democratic Party activists were disruptive, cheering mentions of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and booing references to the Bible and President Trump. Several people were forcibly removed from the meeting and one person was injured. That person was cited, but the city prosecuting attorney's office has moved to dismiss the citation. The business license for the security firm Lear Asset Management was suspended by the city. An investigation by the police department is ongoing. And that's Newsmakers for this Tuesday, February 25th, 2025 edition. I'm Keith Black.